Sometimes we want a tool to help us break character and talk to all of the players just as players. Sometimes this is for emotional safety, but other times it can just be to make sure that the game is going in a direction that we all want it to go. The most popular of these is the X card by Stavropoulos. This is a safety tool that can be used by using a 3x5 card, putting an X on it with like a Sharpie, putting it on the table in front of all the players, and they tap it whenever they want to kind of pause the game for a minute and talk to the DM or move on past a situation that they don't like. It's popular enough that Roll20 actually added it into their platform. There's another set of safety tools called Script Change by Beau Sheldon that I find actually works a little bit better when you're playing either online or offline. And there's one particular component from Script Change that I really like called Pause, or as I like to refer to it, pause for a minute. The way this works is that at any point in the game, a player or the GM can say, let's pause for a minute. And immediately all conversation stops, everybody breaks character, and whoever called for the pause can describe what they want. And it could be something like asking a question about where the game is right now or where the heads of all of the characters are. It could be saying that they're not comfortable with the current situation and they'd like to move past it. Maybe they just need a break from what's going on for a second, or maybe they want to have a private conversation with the GM. It can be used for lots of different things, some of them involving the emotional safety of our players, but some of them just to help make sure that the game is going in the direction that we're enjoying. Once the situation is resolved, the GM can say, okay, game on, and you're back in character and you're back to playing the game. This whole transition can actually be very smooth. You could have it all happen in essentially just a few sentences. An example would be, pause for a minute. Enrique, are you okay if Bing fireballs Barandar to kill all of those orcs? You are? Good. Game on. So pause for a minute can be used for a whole bunch of different things. Definitely it can be used to help make sure that the emotional safety of everybody at the table is where we want it to be. We're happy with the things that are going on. We're not hitting topics that people just don't want covered in their RPG, and everything is going smooth. But we can also use it to help deal with inter-party conflicts or help deal with situations where one player's character might be taking away the agency of another player's character. We might want to make sure that just the tone of the game is where we want it to be. We could just use it to clarify a particular situation. If a player is lost and they don't quite get what's going on, they can just say, pause for a minute. Can somebody explain to me exactly what's happening with this? It doesn't have to be a safety issue every time. It can just be an issue of making sure the story is smooth. But the real value is in 4 words, 4 short words, somebody can break the conversation, break out of the game completely, and just talk to everybody else as players and GMs and ask about what's going on in the game. Figure it out, find out where it is, and then say, okay, game on, and then you're back in character and back to rolling. So we can use pause for a minute anytime that we want to make sure everybody's good with the situation. A player can use pause for a minute to say that they're not comfortable with the direction a decision is going. A GM can use pause for a minute, and I highly recommend that as a GM, you use pause for a minute often just to make sure everybody's good with the current situation that's going on with the game. One player can use pause for a minute to just check in with the other player of another character, even if their characters are having some kind of conflict in-game. One of the players can say, pause for a minute. Are you okay with the direction that this is going on? And the other player says, yeah, this is great. You say, great, game on. And then you go back into character again. So it can be used for lots of different things in our game. And the more often we use it, the more comfortable everybody will be to use it. So if there is a situation where somebody hits something that they really don't want to have happen in a game that they're really uncomfortable with, it won't be the first time you ever heard the phrase pause for a minute, and everybody already has been using it and they know how to use it. And even though it's a more serious situation, everybody understands that when somebody says pause for a minute, everybody stops their conversation, everybody breaks character, they give that person the floor, let them talk about their issue or call for a break or talk to a GM offline, and then they go back into the game when things are in a better spot. So by using it often, we break out of the stigma that it is only ever used for the most extreme circumstances. Instead, we're using it all the time, and we're using it to make sure our game is always going in a smooth direction. For an example, pause for a minute. Is everybody okay with the fact that Gore is casting Animate Dead on those dead drow warriors and that you're going to use them as bait to try to bait out the other monsters? Oh yeah, that's right. You guys already have a zombie ogre that's been carrying around your gear for the last 11 months. I forgot. So everybody's good? Cool. Game on. Pause for a minute. I want to make sure everybody is on board with you guys dropping a telephone pole-sized tungsten rod onto that Temple of Carthax, which is going to kill about 16 innocent people if you use it. So because we're going to do that, I just want to make sure everybody's on board with that. You're not on board? Okay, we're not going to do it. Game on. Now, you might feel some general uncomfort just using safety tools in your game, or you might even find them a little bit insulting. You know your players, you're emotionally strong people, you don't need something like this. When I first heard about safety tools, I wasn't comfortable putting them on my game either. I thought it was a little bit weird. But then I hit a situation that occurred, and it was with a player I've been playing with for 20 years. This is not a situation where I didn't know them, and I didn't know the kinds of things that bothered them, but something came up in the game that they found upsetting. setting and we didn't have safety tools in place, and it ruined the game for that player. It caused me a lot of guilt and a lot of grief over the game that I ran. And I just wish I had some kind of safety tool that I put in place to help try to stop that situation before it started, try to make sure that everything went smooth, and be able to move on with the game. I wish I'd had it. Adding something like pause for a minute is really easy to put into your game. It's something that you can use for a lot of different situations. And if a situation does come up where a player really finds something in the game upsetting, you've already been using this tool that they can use to just break character for a minute, say that they're not comfortable with the situation, and move on. It's a great tool to make sure that the kind of game we're all playing in is the kind of game we want to be playing in, and to smooth out the stories that we're sharing with our players. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, you can help me out in 4 ways. You can subscribe to the Sly Flourish newsletter, where you'll get weekly Sly Flourish articles sent directly to your inbox and a free adventure generator PDF. You can support me directly on Patreon and get access to all kinds of exclusive material, a full city source book, multiple adventures, early drafts of videos like this, and a lot more. You can, of course, always pick up any of my books at the Sly Flourish bookstore, or you can like this video and subscribe to my channel to get more videos like this and to help other people find the videos like this. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and get out there and play some D&D.